Okay, so things we're checking for. We are checking the body. I believe if it's an autopsy body, the person who did the embalming needs to be present at the packaging as well.
Yeah, specifically whoever's sutured.
Yeah. So this body is not autopsied, so we don't have to worry about that. But checking for things in and around the body. So there's some belongings here. We're going to go through any of those. Lay them all out. Then we're going to check the pillow. I believe one of the things is look through the stuffing, make sure there's nothing in the pillow. Rest of the casket all looks good as well. Checking underside, if there were any nooks and crannies, kind of feeling underneath the bed of the casket, all those good things.
So if it's a full casket where some of them have little compartments and things, you want to be checking all of those as well. And then behind, like the caskets have the little panels there. You want to make sure you're checking behind the panels absolutely everywhere you possibly can.
Yeah. So basically we're treating this like we're security guards and pretend like there was a bunch of people in this room kind of thing beforehand and we don't know what could have been placed in the casket, just to be doing our due diligence.
For a bit of insight, the reason that we have to be so diligent with this is the Kelowna airport, when we're shipping someone out, they don't have a big enough security screening thing that they're putting this casket through. So they're trusting us 100% that we're not putting something dangerous on that plane. It 100% comes down to us.
Cell phones?
No, they're not supposed to have cell phones.
Anything with a battery?
Exactly.
Okay, let's put it on this back. So there's checking the body and then there's checking the caskets, I believe, are the two kind of areas.
And there will be on the sheet a documentation of the items that were in there later on, so that is something you do have to chronicle on our paperwork. So before it's sealed and your memory gets foggy of how many shirts were included, write that down because you'll need it on your paperwork elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or take a picture.
Yeah, which is the job of whoever's packaging and getting the paperwork together. One of the things for paperwork is the embalming report that has all of that listed, and a picture of all that paperwork is taken before it's shipped off. So.
Brittany, did I miss anything for checking the body? And
No,
okay.
that's it. Yeah, just anything with stuffing. So yeah, the pillow would be like you'd be in there checking through the stuffing of the pillow.
So we're expected to like open up the pillow and really get in there?
No, get in there, get in the pillow. Yeah, make a little incision, get in the pillow. Yeah,
Yeah, most of them have a zipper or a little side pocket kind of thing. So.
get in. Yeah.
Securing the caskets. So normally, of course, we're not going to ship it in a cardboard, but for demonstration purposes. Most of the ship-out boxes we're using are either going to be our own built ones, which we're securing the lid with screws. We then also have tamper tape that we put over top of said screws. I believe the minimum requirement is one on the headpiece, one on the lower piece. It doesn't hurt to put one on each side as well. I usually like to put it over top of a screw, so if anybody did try and access that screw, it's very obvious that the tamper tape has been tampered with. So we have the two rolls of tamper tape over here. Both work just fine. The way that the tamper tape works is once it's placed down and stuck down, if it is removed, it leaves security void. So this will indicate to any airport staff or anything like that that this hasn't been tampered with. So an important step, and we want to do this right at the very end when we don't need to open the casket again, because then if say, oh shoot, we forgot the clothing to go with the family, we open that, now there's security void all over the lid on our box, and we have to go get a new lid or spend time sanding it off, which I've actually done in the past as well too. So.
And so when you're putting the tamper tape on, you want to make sure when you're looking at the casket, say if I were to take this side off, would that affect the tamper tape? And you want to go through that with every side. So the way that the tamper tape is going to be put on, if you were to take the bottom piece off, it would somewhere wreck the tamper tape. If you took this side off, it would somewhere wreck the tape. So you want to be making sure you don't have to do every single corner and angle, but just putting it on enough spots that any portion, like plank of the casket that can come off, would somehow affect the tamper tape. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if Andrew, what's that? if Andrew were to package the body and finish everything tamper tape on the night before shipping, what would we have to do? What would he have to do before leaving the care center? Yeah. And who would be allowed in here while he's packaging and after the body is packaged?
Only another ACR.
Yeah. Where is he allowed to package the body for shipping?
In here.
Yeah, so he can't even do it out there and then bring it in here. Every part of it has to be done in here. Okay, we already talked about embalmer, who's sutured has to be present if the body is embalmed. Autopsy, right, yes. If a person is packaged and left overnight, what protocol, we got that. What do you do if you find something suspicious or any signs of tampering? Anybody know what you would do?
It used to be call Alex, but now it's you, I assume.
Yeah, and we have over here, it's called the action notification grid. So here it has the incident, so it'll be if it's something minor, like you just detect some signs of tampering, but nothing like, oh, you found an explosive, then it'll tell you who you need to contact. So it has the emergency response team leader, and then over here you can see emergency response team leader is me. The cargo security coordinator, which is also me. Transport Canada, I'm sure that Rod would probably appreciate knowing as well, so keep him in the loop. And then it goes down to like, if you find an explosive, back away, call 911, and then, yeah. So if you're unsure what to do, you find signs of tampering, anything like that, or you find something that you're like, I don't know if this is supposed to go with them, or if it's safe to go with, just refer to this chart here. Okay? And then who can take the person to the airport?
ACRs.
Okay, and what van do you have to use?
The blue van.
And why?
Because it is equipped with an alarm system.
Otherwise, you would need to take two people and have one stay with the body the entire time while the other one is inside doing the paperwork.
Got it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good with
Can you
that?
do an errand on the way there?
Absolutely not. That includes being pulled over for a speeding or texting ticket.
Do you require, when you sign out the key in your leave time, that you report your leave time to an ACR, or can it be any other person?
You're gonna write it on the document. So when you leave for the airport, we'll usually have a bit about having all the paperwork you need to fill out set on the casket, everything you need to fill out. And part of that is writing what time you started packaging the body, what time you finished, what time you left, what time you returned, and then all of that comes back to me. And then I keep all of those records and everything locked up at my desk.
Well, if you don't need to return.
You don't need to return.
It's a sign you have the van.
Okay, well, great question. Pretend you returned. Or probably
I would
wouldn't took much
suggest
time
that when
than
you're
you.
finished completing the turnoff, you call somebody to hold yourself responsible to say, I'm finished at the airport, it's now in their control, I'm going home, and you just document the time of my call. You know, with a text, you'd have a data entry at least as for when you did that. That would hold you responsible at least, or have a record.
Yeah, and we could read the detailed notes on that.
If we wanted to do that, you could literally call the answering service. It'd be awkward and just say, I'm just phoning you to tell you this so it's recorded. And that way it's logged, but it seems...
And you do have to send me a picture of the packaged body anyway, so you can send me the pictures and then also text me the time. And I've written on the sheet afterwards.
What happens if we aren't licensed or approved to be an ACR? What would we have to do with the casket? If we, because they don't have cargo here, so where would we go then?
You have to go down to Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was how we used to do it. Some of my first jobs. Right. Down to
And then when you do that, you need to be very careful of what is in the casket, because now it's going through X-ray. Andrew had a very awkward situation where they thought something was in there, they couldn't quite tell what it was, so he had to, on the fly, deal with that before they would accept it. So doing this allows us actually to have quite a bit more freedom. Like if we needed to send along a pair of work boots because the family wanted it, it would be documented. Whereas if you were in Vancouver, those work boots may void the person getting on the plane, because the x-ray would show something which was potentially bulky or dense that they couldn't recognize.
And we just had that with your young gentleman, David, about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Pearson said the family brought clothing that they want to just send back to the family because there was nobody coming from Calgary, and the funeral home said we're not accepting this because it will get rejected at cargo. Just additional items to go in because they have an x-ray there. So that's what happened to Andrew in Vancouver. He had to drive out and find a parking lot, get a screwdriver,
Yeah.
and in some parking lot in Richmond, take the casket apart to see what they were talking about.
Wow.
And it really was nothing other than just potentially one of the soaker sheets or something that was folded up strange, but it left enough of a denseness
Dense
in
mass.
there.
And at that point, he was probably even newer than Nicolette was into the business. So.
17 years old.
So
when the casket is packaged, you're ready to put it into the van. So that's like, you're supervising always.
Yeah.
Only an ACR certified person can even touch that casket at that point. Like if I need help loading it, I couldn't just ask Connie.
Once it's packaged,
As long as there's an ACR with, I think you're okay. Because even like the embalmer, if the embalmer's not an ACR, but they're there, if you have an ACR, they're responsible for making sure that nobody else is tampered with the casket, right? So if you're right there with them.
Besides being approved, can you tell us about the other designation we have? Alex got it for us after she took it over from me. There's another designation that we have.
I don't know if we actually got the one to package for other people.
Yeah.
I don't think we actually have it. She said I should come to you and vouch for it, but we don't have it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we do. I'm pretty sure we got approved.
So that would be like Everett and Russ could come to us.
Yes, yeah, and Penticton did come to us once. I think it was for an urn maybe they wanted to put on the plane. So I can't think of his, Nolan. Nolan came to us one time.
Okay. Yeah,
Check
Alex
into that.
communicated that we didn't have it, so I'll look and see. if
Okay,
we
unless we
need
gave it
or
up, but I'm sure we did have it.
At this point, from what I understand, I think that we are one of the only